So, what's the best thing for me to do if I need to like take a bathroom break?
Just don't swear at your wife.
So I got it recording on my
I
end.
spent the majority of it with Craig.
Like it sounds delicious. You know how when you can tell that the food is really good?
Welcome to Two Crazy Scoops Podcast with your hosts, Ayo and Tito, Mark, and Craig Chewing. This week is a crossover episode with your hosts and your other hosts. It's pretty much everyone's a host. There are no guests, and we're all going to try to fight over who wins.
Yeah, why not?
I do, religiously.
So are we going to talk about the concert now or on the podcast, Craig?
Feel free to go to the bathroom.
It's part of my religion.
Are we on the podcast?
It's not right now. It'll be later.
Hey, Mark, how's it going? I love you, Mark.
Are you done chewing, Craig?
Oh, gross.
So welcome to Best 3 out of 3, the podcast.
Yes, the two podcasts have had a car accident, and we're going to try to salvage what we can. The Two Crazy Scoops car has been totaled, and we are going to get more money than what the car was worth, so that's good news.
So on this episode, we're going to have some interesting things that happen. We've got incredible small town news coming up. We've, like, from Canada, by the way. We've got a bike to berate. I know. I can barely believe it myself.
Can you explain to the Two Crazy Scoops audience what Berate My Bike is?
Berate My Bike is a special feature of the Best 3 out of 3, the podcast, in which people send us pictures of their bicycles and we berate them.
Oh, I could have sent you a picture of mine.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Did you not send one to Antonio or something?
No.
How are we supposed to berate
him?
Aaron's bike if he didn't send in a picture?
Yeah, he didn't tell me to take a picture of it.
Could you take a picture real quick?
Seriously?
I thought this was the whole...
Antonio, this is like the entire... This is on the outline.
I thought we mentioned it on the in the chat thing that we had.
Yeah, you did mention that, but you didn't tell anything about taking a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
We are off to a great start. So normally on Best 3 out of 3,
Can you
the
describe
podcast,
the bike to us then?
We people send us pictures to our email.
I can just send you can I just send you a link to what it looks like?
No,
yeah,
it has to
that'll
be,
work.
No,
Because it's the same thing.
but it's
Yeah, it'll work.
And what we're looking for is the rust and like the reasons why your bike is
Rust.
terrible. Yeah, rust, exactly.
There is no rust.
You
on
heard
my bike.
Mark will find the rust if there's rust.
There is
okay?
none. My bike is in perfect condition, thank you.
That's probably wishful thinking. You can't prove it because you don't have any pictures.
Right. Well, you didn't, if I had known, I would have taken a picture of it. But
Well, you could go take a picture while we talk about the OK Computer album, which is also coming up. I'm going to take another bite of this quesadilla.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Enjoy it for me, please. It looks delicious. I caught a
wait,
glimpse.
but I do have a
glimpse of it.
question though. What's the difference between me sending you a picture of what the bike looks like versus my actual bike?
Because they want to judge whether your bike is filthy or not.
Because my bike is because it's in my room. It's put up. I have it put up on the stand, and in order to get a good look at it, I have to really take it outside and take a shot of it outside, where there's plenty of light. and
No,
everything.
Craig is just exaggerating. We don't actually look for rust and try to diminish people's bikes as much as possible. We're just
At least
basically
not while they're here.
My bike.
At least while they're not on the actual podcast.
mostly I just care about the components and
Okay,
the frame
So-
and what it's made out of and stuff like that. That's it.
gotcha.
But
okay.
but I guess if it was particularly dirty, like for instance, like Kenneth's bike a few episodes ago was particularly dirty, I did comment on that because it was disgusting. But I don't expect an actual cyclist to have such a filthy bike, and I'm sure Kenneth's bike is clean and nice now. That was just when he first got it.
So, Mark, what's your background in biking?
I have no background in biking.
For the last couple of weeks, or before that,
What
when
do
you
mean?
ride bikes, when did you start riding bikes?
Oh, when did I start riding bikes? Well,
When did you start becoming an enthusiast?
Well, I always liked, riding bikes as a kid, but of course I didn't have the actual money to purchase a real bike. But pretty recently, in the past couple of years, picked it up and started with a mountain bike, and then one of my other friends has a a really nice road bike, and he just looking at, man, it's gorgeous, and I was like, man, I want one of those road bikes. So I was just trying to figure out any way to be able to get a road bike, and another friend I have actually gave me a road bike, and so I just and it was actually really nice. It's older, but it's really nice, great condition. And then I started replacing components. They didn't need to be replaced, but I just wanted to upgrade anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So Mark, if they listen to the best 3 out of 3, what can they hear on that podcast?
Wait, so what was the question?
If people are going to listen to the best 3 out of 3, what can they hope to hear about bicycles?
They can hope to hear bicycles that are subpar, berated, but bicycles that are actual real bicycles and nice, to be treated with respect and dignity as they should be.
Absolutely. You'll also hear 3/4 of what's happening right now because Antonio's also on the podcast.
Yeah.
But you already know that if you're listening to Best 3 out of 3. But like, I don't know. We're going off on tangents here. I don't know where we should start. I mean, Antonio and I just went to a concert. I don't know if we're starting on that foot or not.
Yeah, we could start on that foot and then move on.
It was
to the bike.
amazing, especially because if we're gonna talk about Radiohead today, we want to berate. I mean, we're gonna review OK Computer.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it brief.
It'll be brief, sweet and brief.
I will announce this is the first concert I've ever been to while I was in bed, so that was very nice.
Yeah, it was a live stream concert event. The band was The Smile, and they are Tom York and Johnny Greenwood, both from Radiohead, and Tom Skinner, I believe, from Sons of Kemet, which I think is a jazz band. He was the drummer. It was incredible. It was like listening to a new album of Radiohead songs for the first time, but they played them all live, and there was only 3 of them. It was breathtaking. How did you feel, Antonio?
The drummer's amazing. I really like how, just to start off with, man, the beats were awesome. Tom York was playing bass, which he doesn't usually do when playing in Radiohead. And they were all 3 of them. It's only 3 people, and they all switch instruments throughout the show.
Yeah, even the drummer, he was doing like synths and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's like 3 personalities all being translated into different instruments.
Yeah, it was cool.
Pretty awesome.
So we'll have to, if you haven't heard about The Smile, you can check them out if you like Radiohead. Speaking of Radiohead, Mark and Aaron, did you get to listen to OK Computer?
Most of it. I fell asleep during some parts of it.
Okay. Do you know at what point you made it to in the album?
Probably
The first track?
No, I made it past that one.
Okay.
And funny enough, I had actually heard of one of the songs before. I had heard Karma Police before.
Oh, yeah. That's a popular one.
So, I don't know, probably somewhere around shortly after that went off. So, Fitter, Happier, Electioneering, around that point.
Okay. Well, that's you got the...
And were you sound asleep afterward? Did you wake up and catch the last half of the or like last song of the album? Or
I probably heard like The Tourist as well.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I was pretty tired this afternoon.
That's okay.
What was your initial reaction listening to it, though?
I mean, it was okay. It didn't stand out to me as anything like, oh my God, I have to listen to this. It was more like, but I like different types of music. And,
exactly.
And I mean, it wasn't, how can I put it? I liked it enough to want to go back and finish listening to it.
Well, that's good.
And I can definitely play this if I'm in, depending on what mood I'm in, I can definitely play it.
What kind of a mood do you have to be in to listen to this album?
That's a good question.
Like severely anxious?
No, not necessarily. Just more Saturday afternoon.
I feel like it helps if I'm anxious.
I don't know, more like Saturday afternoon, relaxing at home.
Relaxing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's an interesting take, Aaron. I wouldn't classify OK Computer as a relaxing album, but you did fall asleep to it, so I could be wrong here. So, Mark, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just to be fair, just one last thing. I wasn't necessarily studying the lyrics or nor did I study the background of all the songs and stuff like that. So
right, and it was your first time ever hearing it,
right?
Except for Karma Police, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's interesting to get a first take on this album, especially because I think it takes multiple listens, multiple tries to really even start understanding it. Right. So, Mark, I'm really interested to hear what your take on this was, because you gave Pablo Honey, their first album, I don't remember, 6 something, I think.
Yeah, I think it was about a 6.25,
and then you gave
maybe.
The Benz, I think you said like 6.7.
Yeah, I think it was higher, towards 7.
Yeah, and then so how do you feel about OK Computer? I mean, you had never heard it before either, but you had a few weeks to kind of delve into it. So what did you take away?
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to it about a dozen times, maybe a little bit more, and all the way through. I think it's a great album, but I don't think it's something that I necessarily like listening to. The style, right? I don't like his vocals. I don't like Tom's vocals in it. Also, I have to mention too that I've lost all respect for Muse.
Oh, well. Yeah. After this album, eh?
Yeah. I can't listen to Muse anymore. I mean, it's so clear.
Aaron loves Muse.
It's so clear that they ripped off of this album, like, super hard.
Yeah. It's really clear, isn't it? Especially, I feel like exit music for a film, that like distorted bass kind of thing. You know, that's huge Muse.
Yeah. I do really appreciate the album. I think it's like I said, a good album, but it's not really like something I would necessarily really, really like and enjoy. It's not the kind of style that I'm like super into. I like it, but it's not like it didn't really hit as hard for me as, for instance, the previous, the Benz album. My favorite part of the entire album is on the song Lucky, which is the second to the last song, in the last minute and 10 seconds of that song. Yeah, so that's my favorite part in the entire album.
Nice.
I also really like number 4, Exit Music for a Film. I really liked Paranoid Android too, when the first few times I listened to it, but as I continued to listen to it, I just kind of got bored waiting. I feel like this album makes you wait so long to hear the good parts, which is okay, but I don't like how it happens in every song. Like, it's okay to make you wait to hear the good part for like a song or two in an album, but they do it in every single song, I feel like, or just about every single song. They make you wait so long for the good part, and the good part comes at the end, and there's not enough of it, right? So that's kind of how I feel about this album. I don't know. I'd probably give it a 6, even though it's like one of the most highly
so you
rated.
would score this like lower than Pablo Honey?
Probably right around Pablo Honey, maybe. Yeah, probably right.
Oh my goodness!
Similar to Pablo Honey.
That is because
it's controversial. It's controversial.
Well, the style of Pablo Honey is something you're probably a little more used to.
Yeah, this style is very different.
It is very different. Pablo Honey's a little bit more grungy kind of, and gritty, and more kind of rockin'. This one's, like I said, it just takes too long to get to the good parts of the song. And I hate waiting for that. Like, I'll wait for it for a song or two, and if the part is amazing, like on Lucky, I love that part, the last minute of it. But the first, 2.5 minutes of the song, 3 minutes of the song, I'm like, and the thing is, like, I don't even like the first 2.5 minutes of Lucky that much. Like, it's good, but it's not like blowing me away until the last minute and 10 seconds.
Right. Okay.
I do like the entirety of Exit Music for a Film. I do like that entire song. Also, yeah, that's it. The other songs basically just take too long for me to get going.
Interesting. Now, do you think? Okay, go ahead, Antonio. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, can you explain to Aaron, like, how you can like the music but know that Tom York may not be like the greatest singer in the world?
Wait, what? You're asking me that?
Yeah.
How I can like the music but know that Tom York is what? Not the great what?
Not really a great singer. Like, it's kind of off-putting in certain times for people.
I think he is a great singer. I just don't like the style in this particular album. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
I like the style.
interesting.
Sorry, I like the style in Pablo Honey and in The Bends, and in
Kid
Kid
A,
A.
which we'll get to.
Oh man,
It's so good. I
that
can't
album,
wait to talk.
that album has blown me away, and I can't wait to review that because
Oh, man.
that scores off the charts for me.
Tune in on the next podcast.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
I just
what-
didn't like the style of OK Computer. I just didn't like the style. That's it, basically.
Yeah. Do you think that it's because it takes longer to grow on you?
I think I gave it sufficient time.
Okay.
I listened to it more than a dozen times. It's been weeks, and I don't think it's going to grow on me, to be
It's
honest.
interesting. It's really interesting you say that because I favored the Bends over OK Computer for a few years. And there's some, I really have to be in the right mood to really benefit from OK Computer.
You benefit from it?
Yeah, I benefit from it spiritually and emotionally, physically. Yeah, physically, mentally.
Craig's muscles are just like growing while he's sitting there.
Yeah. So it's got to be the right time. And honestly, I didn't like it for the longest time. I remember the first time I listened, I got it on CD and we were driving, I think, to like Sierra Vista or something. It was a long drive. And I like put it in the CD player and I was like, every single one of these songs just like irritates me. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. It's grown on me now and I appreciate it. It's not my favorite album that they've done. I think it made a big impact in the music industry. But like you said, Mark, it's not one that I will always reach for to listen to all the way through, but I really like specific songs on the album.
Yeah.
And I go back to those very often, or I'll play them on guitar even.
Or they're super catchy. Like I'll have songs from this
Yeah.
album stuck in my head,
Yeah.
but I just don't care for them. I will also add, and then I'll be done. The last song, "The Tourist," I usually like. I enjoy when the last song of an album is epic, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like the last song on any album should be epic, more so than the other songs, right?
Yeah.
"The Tourist" for me is not at all.
It just kind of like dings out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
'Cause
what's
there's
that
literally
ding
a
at the
ding.
There's literally a ding at the end, and it's just like,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. But
Like,
it
I
also,
want my money
again,
back.
it takes forever to get anywhere in
Yeah.
that last song, "The Tourist." It takes forever to get to
Yeah.
the point. And it's like over 5 minutes long. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have this kind of time, to just be listening and listening.
Because you're
to,
busy selling stocks, so you don't have time to be listening to Radiohead.
Exactly.
So,
But-
Aaron, how do you feel listening to a conversation about Radiohead?
It's fine. I can learn something. I'm just listening. and
I think we can pretty much wrap it up there. We don't need to comment.
Yeah, I
much
just
more
was
on it.
wondering what Antonio didn't say what he thought about it. I was just
Yeah,
wondering
true,
if he
true.
had a take.
10 out of 10, man. The only song I hate is Electioneering. That song is trash.
Seriously?
I hate electioneering. Yeah,
I can't.
that's my least favorite song on the album. They have a lot of B-sides from this era. That is an incredible coffee mug.
That's me and my wife, by the way.
I know.
Oh, I was going to be like, who's that with your wife?
So,
But yeah,
I don't
they
even
have
remember
better
electioneering.
songs. They have better songs that could replace electioneering from that same era, and it would be better. I would give the album
yeah, electioneering is terrible.
I would give OK Computer a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow. What did
I
you
think
give
I'd
Pablo
go with
Honey?
Mark.
Pablo Honey, I gave 6.7.
I think I'd go with Mark and give the 6.
You're giving OK Computer a 6?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'll go.
Apollo Honey, I'll just put a little bit lower than that.
I'll go down. I'll go down to a 7 because I love 7 of the songs on here. Probably. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let Down is my favorite song, on the album, and No Surprises. Yeah. Okay. Well, 6.9. I'll give it a 6.9.
No Surprises is probably my favorite song. And Exit for a Film. Exit music for a film.
Yeah, I really liked No Surprises, like, for a couple of times that I listened to it, and then I just got bored of it.
Yeah.
I
I used to have this friend who'd play it all the time, though, so it makes me think of him whenever I listen to it.
Oh yeah, nice. So that's OK Computer.
Dun, dun, dun,
Bet you weren't
dun.
expecting that.
No, definitely not. For the normal craziness that generally goes on this show.
Yeah, most people think that this is the greatest album of all time, which I don't agree
they're
with.
certainly mistaken.
Yeah, I don't agree with
Here
that.
is my opinion, though.
Oh, good.
I had a friend tell me that he doesn't need a history lesson every time that he listens to music. But I like to keep that in mind. If I were to go back and listen to albums in 1997, I mean...
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
What? Oh, no, here we go. Aaron, tell us about music in 97. You're stinking old.
Yeah, perfect.
We have a person who was alive and is consuming art at the time. Aaron, tell us about the 90s.
So 97, at that point, I was primarily listening to R&B
Craig.
Okay.
and pop at the time.
I have a
quesadilla.
quesadilla.
I wasn't listening to anything like Radiohead at the time, with a few exceptions. I guess I liked Red Hot Chili Peppers. I liked, bands like that. The ones who crossed over into the pop charts, Nirvana, things like that. But I definitely
Radiohead was on the charts. Have you ever
They
heard
were.
Creep? You ever
Well,
heard
yeah.
Creep, buddy?
Yeah, I like Creep, but that was because that was a huge song. You get what I'm saying? Like that was,
Yeah. I'm just joking.
yeah. So everybody knows those. Well, that's why I say it pop and R&B. So anything that crossed over to the charts, that's what I was listening to. 97. So yeah. So Radiohead. If you other than Creep, I didn't know any of their music back then. So,
Nice. Well,
but
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think just seeing for the time that it came out and how what quote unquote I would say underground, even though it was pretty mainstream, but it was experimental. That's the only reason why I'd say it's interesting. But compared to what the concert we just saw today, I mean,
the concert we saw today was a 12 out of 10.
yeah.
Like, wow. But that's why Radiohead just gets better and better and better as we go. So like Mark saw already from Kid A, I'm already happy that he's listened and enjoyed it, and we're gonna really go deep on that next time.
So
Can
can
we
we?
berate the bike now?
Yeah, let's go into the bike.
Welcome to the podcast within a podcast. Welcome to Berate My Bike with your hosts Craig, Mark, and Antonio, and Aaron. And did Aaron end up sending a picture of his bike?
I will send it right now. I was trying to send it through Zoom, but
He
it won't
said,
let me.
"Here it is in the chat." And
I know, but it
just-
it won't let me
There's
attach
no
the
picture.
picture.
just
Yeah.
those words.
It won't let me attach the picture. So
So,
I'm now eating a quesadilla.
Mark, I had a quesadilla at the beginning of this podcast.
unless it's something you know that I don't. Do you know how to send pictures through Zoom?
No, I've never done that.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
could
it won't
just-
let me.
Okay, so tell us about your bike, Aaron. Why did you get this bike? What makes you think you're a biker? And other such related things.
So I had a hybrid before this, just a regular. It was a Giant. That was the brand.
So can you tell us what is this one?
This one is called a Ride One Up. It's the 500 series. I have the one. If you click on that link that I sent you,
Yeah.
it should. Yeah. So I have not the regular gray one, but the one with the tan and I don't know what color it is. Brown handlebars and seat.
I think Mark was salivating over a bike like this just but a couple months ago.
Yeah, not too long ago. How do you like this, Mark?
Say, hold on. What was the question again?
Okay,
What-
we'll just
what
go
did
back to
Antonio
Aaron
say?
until you can just keep eating your quesadilla, and
No,
we're gonna go back to Aaron.
I'm looking at the bike, but Antonio, I didn't hear the question.
No, I said you were salivating over a bike that looked like this not only a couple months ago, correct?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So I had a.
Go ahead.
Before this, I had a Giant, just a regular Giant hybrid bike, and so that's not an expensive bike. It's like in the $300 range. It's not.
So
very
was that
expensive.
an e-bike or no?
No, just a
Okay.
regular hybrid. Yep. And I use it mainly for commuting and just riding on the trails here in Tucson for fun. And
Right.
so I went on some rides with, funny enough, Antonio's dad and some other friends, and
Was
they were.
Antonio's dad's bike there?
Yes, his
Oh,
bike
nice.
was there, and and he they all had road bikes, and I'm the only person with the hybrid. So
Oh, I
naturally,
bet you were struggling.
I was struggling, yeah, and I was very annoyed by that. So what I was going to do was upgrade and get a road bike just like them. But then, being the nerd that I am, I kept seeing a lot about these different electric bikes, and I kept seeing different reviews on them. And I said, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, they cost about the same roughly, and it's something different. And so I was going to get this bike from this company called Rad Power Bikes. And Rad Power Bikes is the largest manufacturer of electric bikes in the U.S. And so I actually ordered one of their bikes. But then the bike was delayed. Like the shipment was delayed, and they kept pushing back the delivery date. So while I was doing some research on similar bikes, I came across this other company, which was a newer company. It's called Ride One Up. And their bike in the same price range as the Rad Power Bike, this one had more features. Like, for example, the top speed on the Rad Power Bike, I think it was like 20 miles an hour, and it's a class 2. And this one was a class 3. It goes up to 28 miles an hour, and
wow.
And it was the same price. And there were some other features like the little display on it. The battery life was longer, the motor was stronger, and it has some really solid parts. And so that's why I ended up canceling the Rad Power Bike order and getting this Ride One Up. And I love it. And I've put over 1,000 miles on it since the time I've had it.
Wow. How long have you had it?
I think I got it in, I want to say maybe January 2021, I think.
Okay, so it's been just a year, just over a year?
Yeah, just over a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you're happy with it? Takes you around?
I love
Do you feel
it.
like you're still able to get a good exercise on it, even
Yeah.
though it's like an e-bike?
Yeah, so so that's another thing. So with e-bikes, and I don't know you don't have to look at it, but you basically, there's like a picture on that website that shows you what the little LCD display looks like. So you can turn the power off. You don't actually have to have power to ride an e-bike.
But it would be heavy without the power, would it not?
Well, it is. It's a 70-pound bike. It's very heavy.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, you have. Oh man, no.
Yeah.
no.
So, but to answer your question, you asked, can you get a workout? The answer is yes. You can still
well,
get a
okay,
workout.
but I mean, like while you're using the e-bike feet, like it's an e-bike, so you're
Right.
going to use it. Is it still like you get your cardio up and it's?
Absolutely. So you control the levels. So it has 5. Well, mine has 5 different levels of it. That's the pedal electric assist. And so if I want a good workout, you just turn it to 1 or 2, which basically negates the weight of how heavy the bike is. So it's almost like riding. Almost can compare it to riding. Like level 1 is comparing it to my hybrid giant bike almost.
Okay.
Just enough assist to help you get over the fact that you're riding on something that weighs 70 pounds.
Yeah.
So workout for sure, yeah. Okay. Normally when I'm riding, I usually have it on level 2 or level 3, depending on where I'm at. Level 2 is what I usually keep it at, though.
And how's the battery on it?
Good. I mean, I can go. I mean, I've gone. I'm trying to think. I'll see if I can find my longest ride on that before. But
Yeah.
the bike, the battery depends on what level you have it at.
Exactly.
But I mean, I can go like on I've done like 3-hour rides before, and the battery
been
was
fine.
Yep.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
That's pretty cool. So, Mark, I mean, you're an e-bike connoisseur of sorts. What is your take on this e-bike? And be honest, Mark.
I mean, it's a good e-bike, you know.
Just pretend Aaron's not here.
I don't know a ton about e-bikes. I mean, just like anything, they can go up into the thousands, right? You can get like a super expensive e-bike for $10,000. The price here is it shows the price here, and I'd say that's probably more towards. I think entry level e-bikes are around 1,000 maybe, so this is a step up from entry level probably. It's hard to see the components, but on an e-bike, the components don't matter as much because you have the electric assist.
The gearing is a Shimano cassette. The derailleur is Shimano Acera.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that actually.
That might be an e-bike range.
That's an e-bike specific. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the components are e-bike specific, so
I'd give it a 0 out of 10 for art quality because Aaron didn't take a picture of his own bike, which is like the whole point of this is to make fun of the bike in its random location. If you've listened to the podcast.
Do you really want me to take? If you want, I'll take a picture of it where it's at. But it's on my stand in my
No, it's too late. It's too late, Aaron. It's too late. But 10 out of 10 for Aaron's happiness with this bike. That's what I'll give it. Antonio?
I generally give bikes a 10 out of 10. But I'll give this an 11 out of 10 because, like that one extra little bit that you can go with the battery is pretty cool. Do you feel a bigger sense of freedom knowing that you have that ability to travel without having a car?
Yeah. There's only one thing really keeping me from even keeping my car.
Oh, yeah?
Otherwise, I would have sold that thing, yeah.
What's making you keep it?
Well, I'll put it. One of the benefits of having a car is during the summer when it's hot,
Yeah.
Here, then.
Well, I mean, for example, like we sold our car now that we're living downtown Toronto in the big city. Like we can walk everywhere or take transit if we need to, and we really like that. Like we don't have an e-bike, but the freedom of not having a car, I can definitely say, is amazing.
Yeah, not having to pay the insurance. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I own my car, so I don't pay a note, but not having to pay the insurance was nice, or gas is nice.
Yeah.
But the heat, I would say the heat. That's probably a big reason here. It's nice, right? This time of year is amazing, but during the summer, I have ridden home from work on my bike in 100-degree heat, and it's not pleasant. I don't care what nobody says. People do it, but if I can help it, I'd rather not. So
yeah.
But do you think this is a good choice for someone who's just looking to commute, maybe 20 minutes to their job or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's
an
excellent commuter bike. Yeah.
Nice.
And then, of course, you can always get all the accessories that come with it. I didn't get any of those hardly, but, there's different racks you can add to it. There's fenders you can put on it. There's, different little, like if you scroll at the very bottom, there's like all these little accessories you can get. A cargo trailer.
You have like those pegs on the back tires so someone could hold your back and ride on it with you?
I do not, no. Unfortunately. If you want to ride on the back, though, I'll get them just for you.
That would be cool.
It's amazing. I've only rode an e-bike one time.
Can I ask you, Mark, what made you decide to have a quesadilla tonight? Because I had a quesadilla. Was it because you saw me eating a quesadilla, or was this already on the schedule?
Yes, it was because of you.
Did you order it from Uber?
I did.
Oh, can you tell us about the experience with
yes,
with the Uber delivery driver? Can you walk us through?
How would you rate him?
Yeah.
Well, he's currently feeding me the quesadilla right now. So.
Oh, I noticed you didn't get up. I was wondering if he opened your door.
I'm gonna give him like a 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah.
Oh, 4 out of 5.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So working for Uber, Aaron, what do you have to say about Uber delivery?
It was okay. I didn't do a lot of delivery when I was working with Uber because they were still rolling it out at the time, and it was still relatively new. It was cool. You didn't get paid much at that time, and apartments were a pain in the butt. So it might be better now, but when I was doing it, I wasn't crazy about it. But during the pandemic, though, food delivery obviously blew up. And so you can probably do Uber and just do food delivery and probably make decent money now. But when I was doing Uber, it was they were rolling out the food delivery still. So
it's true. You might not have heard the episode, but Mark, we had my brother on, and he was complaining about how the delivery driver just didn't come into his apartment and just drove off with his food because he didn't take 2 seconds to just come into the building and buzz him. He just gave up and left. And we were talking about that. Did you ever do that? Did you ever just You're like, well, nobody's here, and then you just drove off with their food.
I've wanted to because people like for example, there's a section where you can leave notes on where to go. Like if it's an apartment complex, sometimes people wouldn't have their apartment in there or the details. So you roll up to this apartment complex and you're like, okay, where do I go? Who am I supposed to see?
Yeah.
Is there a gate code? You can put all of that in the notes if you want, or tell them, hey, when you get there, on the gate, call me on the gate, or buzz me, or call me, or text me, or something. There's no instruction, so you text these people, and they're like, oh, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, I'll be down, and then you're sitting there waiting for them. Was,
and then you're losing money while you're waiting.
Yeah, so that's annoying. And when I order, I have very detailed instructions in the notes on what to do when you get to my apartment.
That's good. So Mark has detailed instructions also. Would you like to share how Kenneth likes his Uber Eats deliveries?
Oh, yeah. Well, Kenneth, he likes the driver to, step out of the car, walk over to his apartment, knock on the door, clean the door handle, open the door after Kenneth has unlocked it. Kenneth greets him, comes in, they sit down. The Uber driver opens up the box of pizza. After, of course, getting a plate and fork and knife, they sit down together.
For pizza?
Yes. The Uber driver then proceeds to cut the pizza and feed Kenneth, piece by piece, the pizza into his mouth while
he couldn't do it with a straight face. He broke. Keep going. You can do it, Mark.
While Kenneth, of course, chews, and the Uber driver also giving chewing instructions and coaching the chewing as well to make sure that Kenneth's body to make sure that Kenneth chews properly and that his body can digest said pizza. Then the Uber driver proceeds. I can't do it. Oh my gosh, bath time. Then the Uber driver takes Kenneth.
Bath time.
Oh God, I'm gonna start
Very
coughing
detailed
a lot.
instructions.
I'm gonna start coughing a lot. If I
Don't
keep
laugh too
going.
much, Mark. Don't start coughing. But
Wow.
yeah. So can you put all that in the notes, Aaron?
No, I don't want nobody feeding me pizza. Although, no, never mind. No.
Okay.
Because you never know who you're going to get either on top of that.
So you're saying it could be a plus and it could be...
You're right. It could go either way.
Okay.
So that is kind of cool, though. Could you imagine that type of service where someone will actually come in, bring you food, come into your kitchen, set the table, put
That's
food
the
on
joke, though, because that's what people think is going to happen.
Yeah,
we're describing a butler, I think, is what we're describing.
Yeah,
A
and
personal butler.
that's what Kenneth expects on every single Uber trip, on every single Uber delivery. That's what is expected. Nothing less will
less.
suffice. So Kenneth is, that's why he's so displeased.
Well, there was an article I found that said the police officer completes a woman's DoorDash order after arresting the delivery driver.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, did you see that? So that's the kind of service we're looking for, above and beyond.
That's from the police, though, not from the Uber drivers. They're the ones getting arrested.
Well, what was that other article we saw where the Uber person wrote a poem or something?
Oh,
Remember?
yeah, you sent me one that said
he
that.
wrote a poem for the person and they were like, this is amazing service. And, that's all we expect. Just write us a poem.
Just one
Order
simple
food.
poem.
Yeah.
Could be a haiku
Book of
even.
poetry.
It could be a haiku.
They're like, what is this? It doesn't even rhyme.
Got enough syllables. Okay, so that was more than enough time spent on whatever that was. Should we go on to the next section, Antonio, or
Why not? I mean, what else are we going to do?
we could continue talking about Uber?
No, I think we've beaten
Yeah, we spent
beaten
several
that dead
episodes.
horse.
Several episodes.
It's crossed many episodes, many countries,
Yeah.
and even now a couple of podcasts.
Yeah,
It's
Mark
true.
is
Now
retiring.
now it's on the Two Crazy Scoops podcast too. It's getting everywhere.
They're going to be like, Mark, tell us the joke. He's like, no. He's going to feel like Creep or Radiohead having people ask him to play Creep.
That's right. Tell us the joke. It's your one hit.
Mark, say the words. He's like, okay. He opens the door. He wipes the handle. He opens the pizza box.
So what's it like traveling with friends?
Craig,
Mark?
can you rephrase that? Wait, that's for Aaron, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's for
that for
Aaron,
me?
isn't it?
I don't know who it's for. Antonio, what do
What's
you?
it like
Antonio,
traveling
how about you? How about you ask this question, Antonio?
Well, Mark, you and Craig have traveled together, and me and Aaron have also traveled together.
Yeah.
What is it like traveling with a friend, and why is that different than traveling with people that you dislike?
Well, I've never traveled with someone that I dislike necessarily. On purpose, I guess. Maybe once or twice, not on purpose, but of course it's way better with someone that you like. Craig, I happen to like. He's a human being, and it makes sense to travel with a human being that you like. So I've had a lot of good times with Craig. We've gone to different areas in Mexico. We've gone to the beach. We've gone to Six Flags, where I also inadvertently abandoned him to join other friends.
And he regrets it
We've
to this
also-
day, so
I
it's
do.
okay.
We've also gone to New York City and Toronto and Buffalo, New York. And
We
what
had
did we
amazing
do
times there.
in New York City, Craig?
We walked
I
around.
ate pizza with you guys.
We ate pizza with Antonio.
That's true.
We were like going to malls and buying shoes or something. I got a pair of Converse.
Every night we went to Madison Square, or not Madison Square Garden. Every night we went to Times Square.
Yeah, we went to Times Square. It was in New York where we went and got those wings, right? At the famous wing place. It must have been in Buffalo because of the buffalo wings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were delicious.
Yeah.
Buffalo's,
Traveling with friends is fun. I like it.
No, it was really great. But yeah, I would definitely suggest traveling with people that you like instead of not liking them. But yeah, Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, what's it like traveling with friends? Most of the time it's good, I think. All the trips I've had with Antino have been very memorable. And yeah, they were a lot of fun.
What about your most recent trip to Florida?
That was a lot of fun. That
did you
was
guys do?
a lot of fun.
Podcasted on the road.
We did basically. What did we do? We went to Florida. We went to where did we do
Texas.
in Florida? Yeah, we went to Texas
Florida?
with the Buc-ee's. That was the highlight of the trip. Was Buc-ee's, which is basically this rest stop that's like souped up and it's got everything that you could possibly think of in it, and it's clean. So that was probably one of the highlights of the actual road trip, was stopping at Buc-ee's. And they're like, once you get to Texas, they're all the way like to Florida, I think, right? Wasn't there one in Florida too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're all
so-
in like the south areas.
Yeah.
We went to a beach where Ponce de Leon landed.
Oh yeah, we went to the beach.
I think he murdered a bunch of people, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and we went to a museum. And
There's a lot of history in Jacksonville that I didn't know about, or at least near Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of U.S. history from first settlers and all that stuff. I thought it was all in New York.
Yeah, but yeah, overall it was the last trip was pretty cool. I've done some other road trips with different people, and some of them were good. Some of them weren't the best, but like one road trip I hit a deer, which I told that story I think before, but that was kind of a mess. And international trips, I went on one that was terrible with two other people, primarily because I had to basically like do everything, do all the planning and all that stuff. So that was kind of annoying. And they were just having a great time. So
But you were like in charge of everything.
I was sort of. I wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be all three of us like putting our heads together and
Right.
saying, "Hey, where do you want to go?"
Was Antonio one of those people?
He was not. No, this is no.
I actually have purchased hotel rooms with his credit card for him.
Oh wow, way to go!
Yeah, I think that that's definitely something irritating when like, well, like any trip, you have to plan it. You have to come up with stuff to do. You can't just go to the place and not have anything planned, right? So people who think that they can do that, you're wrong.
Yeah, it was very annoying. Yeah, so
they didn't have any input at all.
Well, I'll give you the whole story very quickly. Basically, what happened was this is when I was living in Connecticut. We found a really cheap deal from New York to London. My friend wanted to go. I had no desire to go to Europe at all, but he wanted to go, and so I said, "Okay, let's go." And this might be. Well, no, I'm kind of glad I did. I called another one of my friends. I was trying to get 4 of us to go, but eventually it only ended up being 3 of us. And so our plan was to backpack through Europe, apparently. So my friend had connections in London, which was cool because that's where we were going to fly into. But they didn't have connections anywhere else. And I said, okay, well, we bought the tickets like 3 weeks before the trip. It was very quick because the deal was like $300 round trip from New York to London.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we had to get that, but there was no time to really plan anything. So I said, well, hey, I'll keep reaching out to people and see if they know people in these other countries, and we'll see if we can find contacts. And they're like, okay, cool. So we get to London, and at this point, we're supposed to stay with this family who we just met for like a couple of days and then start traveling around. So when I'm sitting there at the table at this family's house, I am allergic to cats. They have 2 of them in a fully carpeted home, which basically means there's a lot of cat dander around.
Oh yeah.
So my eyes are swollen. I'm feeling miserable. I'm at this laptop and I'm like, hey, which flights do y'all want to get? And they're playing, at the time, Wii Sports was like really big. So they're playing Wii Sports. And I'm like, will you all please? I need to buy the tickets. Which tickets do I get? Which times? Where are we going to float? Did you hear back from such and such? They were more interested in playing games than actually trying to figure out flights. So I just bought tickets to go everywhere, and we just had to wing it because they weren't helping me. They were not helping, and I was very upset, and I wasn't feeling well. Yeah. So I can look back at it and laugh now, but at the time I was like, and then one of the cats kept attacking me. It was a mess.
Oh,
are you still friends with those?
With the people who went on the trip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
We're good now. Yeah, we're fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I did enjoy the trip, but there were a lot of moments on the trip where I was heated because they weren't listening.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, that is frustrating.
Mark, something similar you and Aaron have is that you've also traveled internationally, correct?
I have not.
I thought you went to Brazil.
That's a lie.
I have pictures of no.
You have pictures of me at Cristo, at the Christ, meeting the Christ. No, it's true. I have traveled internationally. What I just said 20 seconds ago was a lie. Yeah, I did. I went to Brazil.
I love having you on the podcast.
I went to Brazil and I went to Europe, and I've gone to Guatemala, so Central America.
Nice.
All for different purposes, all at different times. None of them.
You weren't going all at once.
None of the same. None of them were the same time. Yeah. But
so do you speak Portuguese or Spanish or?
I speak some Spanish. I have a white boy accent, of course, even though I am technically Mexican. And I
never knew what your nationality was, to be honest. You're kind of ambiguous.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm fully Mexican, pretty much. And then I also did learn some Portuguese. I learned some Portuguese, but it's not so good now, for sure. I could probably scrape by if I tried, but I would sound really horrible. I was going to ask Aaron, though, about not wanting to travel to Europe. Why didn't you want to travel to Europe?
Because I was learning Portuguese at the time, and the only country I wanted to go to was Portugal. And I had already been, by the time this trip came up, I had already been to Portugal.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, so that was enough for me. But I'm more of a tropical beach person. So when I traveled, I wanted to go somewhere tropical and warm.
Gotcha.
So my ideal trip was like to Brazil, because I've been there a few times too, and South America. Those are my places personally that I would like to go. No offense to any European people, but it's like if you
place stinks.
I mean, if you've been to the U.S., you've been to Western Europe, so it's like
God forbid we go somewhere like Canada.
No, the architecture was nice. I'm glad I went, and Rome was amazing. So
Did you do as the Romans do when you were in Rome?
I did as the Romans.
What do they do while they're there?
Well, if eating and taking pictures is what they do, then that's what I did.
Okay. Well, that sounds like that's what tourists do. What do the people who live there do?
No, I'm definitely glad I went. Rome was amazing. Madrid was awesome. We went to Paris.
People in Rome just walk around. That's why it's called Rome.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense.
You know what's funny? They had these. This is a completely random thought, but the water in Rome tasted really good. Like they have these public fountains everywhere, and the water was really, really good. And I couldn't figure out why until I got back. And apparently, the way they process their water over there is completely different from ours, and it's spring water, I guess, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, does it taste fresher?
Yeah, it does. It's really strange.
Man.
It's weird. I know that's kind of a random thing to say, but it was notable.
No, that's cool.
And they're all over the place. They're like public fountains everywhere.
Yeah.
Which you don't really see much here. I don't think. Not anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we went to Denmark and Croatia and also Venice, Italy. So, it was during the summertime, and man, loved Croatia. Yes, Antonio.
I think Antonio's also eating a quesadilla.
Antonio's also eating a quesadilla now. That's amazing.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
That is amazing. But yeah, Croatia was incredible.
Welcome back to Quesadilla, the podcast, with 4 different kinds of cheese
and ham.
Ham?
Yeah, and ham. Quesadillas are amazing with ham on them.
Did yours have ham in it?
Yeah.
What does yours have, Antonio?
Cheese and more cheese.
Aaron, why don't you have a quesadilla?
I'm just gonna wait for now. I don't eat a whole lot of cheese if I can help it.
Oh, okay.
So, I do. I'm not saying I don't eat it at all, but I keep it to a
Stay
minimum.
away.
Yeah.
Can you make a quesadilla without cheese?
No, because it wouldn't be a quesadilla.
Good, but I mean, you could use a substitute, eh? You could use like
asparagus.
Like you mean like
That'd go over well.
You mean like a vegan quesadilla?
yeah. Could you make like a vegan quesadilla?
Oh, what about?
Oh, you know what a vegan quesadilla is?
What?
You just get a tortilla and you cry into it and then you eat it.
Basically. Hey, what about
Sorry to all the
a
vegans out there.
quesadilla with Nutella in it?
Yeah. That sounds great.
That would be good.
That sounds good to me.
Like a bologna or a PB&J crossover that I don't want to be a part of.
I mean, Antonio talked about this, I think, on a previous Best 3 to 3 podcast where I made soda out of sparkling water and juice. I also, when I ran out of bread, I would use tortillas and put peanut butter and jam on them and use that.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, this is in the universe of jam and peanut butter, but it's not in the tortilla spectrum. So I went to this burger shop probably a couple months ago. And
what's it called?
I don't remember, but it was amazing. I had this burger with spicy habanero jam on the burger. It was so good. But I would implore every listener to try and just put jam on the next burger that maybe you make, or even if you get it and you bring it home, put a little bit of jam on it. And if it can be a spicy jam, it's so good. It's so good. I would just recommend that highly.
Man, that reminds me of the SpongeBob episode.
That's what I was gonna say.
Where they were, and when that episode, like, I can't remember, what was it called? They were putting the jam on all these burgers. Was it like Krabby sauce or something? I don't remember. But they were putting jam on these burgers, and when I saw that, I was like, man, that looks so good. And I didn't realize that it was a cartoon. But if you're recommending it, Mark, I will definitely try it.
And I was just going to say, too, the spicy jam, like the jalapeno jam or any kind like that, If you ever find any, I don't know if they have that in Canada or not. I'm not really sure, but they sell it here.
We don't have grocery stores in Canada, so
makes sense.
You have to forage.
You just have to go kill a moose for dinner.
You kill a moose and find like wild berries on a bush, and you smush them until they become jam.
You can just
small things you can get from Tim Hortons and put it all together.
Yeah, which by the way is still not a gas station.
Well,
Mark wasn't there for the episode because he was sick.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was telling them that I didn't know that Tim Hortons wasn't a gas station.
I listened to it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But
what were you saying, Aaron?
Well, I was just going to say that spicy pepper jelly, if you can find any, it's really also good on not only burgers, but also on breakfast sandwiches. If you ever eat, if anybody eats those with the egg, the sausage, and the
delicious.
Yeah, the spicy jam, like the jalapeno.
What is the spicy jam designed for? Like, what's its actual purpose?
It's so good. Let me find the website that does it, because there's obviously a bunch of different people who make this spicy jam, but
is it like Cranch?
No. Well, we used to sell it at Whole Foods. They used to sell like a bunch of jams there.
Like
you can get it at any pretentious store, basically.
A pretentious, yeah. Yeah, Sprouts. Yeah, we would get free samples of it too, and I'd be like, yeah, this is really good. I would make a breakfast sandwich sometimes with bacon, eggs, and like these homemade biscuits, and then put the jam on. Oh my God.
That sounds good.
So good.
That makes me want to have another quesadilla.
You should get another one. How did you make that?
He got an Uber delivery.
You didn't make it?
Oh yeah, can you describe to us the Uber delivery process that you've enjoyed?
Oh, so the guy came in, he actually smashed through the window and made me clean up the glass.
He said, "Oh, good."
He's really into it.
He was like, "Here's your food." I'm like, "That's not my name." And he's like, "Oh gosh, what have I done?" And then the other delivery guy came, and then he was like, "Oh, is this your food?" And I was like, "No, that is also not my food." And there was just a horde of Uber delivery men
all crashing through different windows.
Yeah, and it turns out I had Grubhub. I forgot to use Uber, so.
Oh, that was the problem.
Yeah, and then they ran off with my food in the end. All that is left is this desk, this computer, and a microphone.
So, Mark, this is hot pepper peach fruit spread. Is this the jam that you recommend? Ooh. Robert Rothschild.
Not necessarily. There's all kinds of different brands you can get. There's all kinds of different ones. So this is just an example.
For breakfast to dinner party, hot pepper red peach.
That looks good.
It's so good. It's so good. On a breakfast sandwich. I have had hot jam on a breakfast sandwich. It's really good.
And I'm feeling pretentious just looking at this.
Yeah, it does. It makes you feel like a pretentious person.
I feel like I need to trade stocks or something. But
Craig signs up to the stock market. I'd like your best stock, please.
I'd like one best stock.
Oh my gosh.
That's literally what I would do.
Your best stock for today, please. Oh my gosh. What's the daily stock? The stock of the day.
I have cash, sir. I'm good for it.
I have cash.
What's the stock of the day?
Yeah.
This is our house stock, sir. It's usually served with a couple of other less profitable stocks, but this one's very delicious, and it's going to be nutritious for you as well, and you're going to make some money on it.
As soon as they hand him the stock, it just like disappears and shatters in his hands.
Just tanks. But yeah.
So why do you podcast, Antonio?
Your question asking today, Craig, has just been so like blunt, and
it's like the difference between a segue, which is a segue into another conversation, and Craig just like drop kicking the question.
I find like that's the best 3 out of 3 style. We don't waste time with these, fancy ways.
We can edit it out later.
Segue.
It's fine.
I'll edit it. It'll be fine. I just have to ask the question, and when I edit it, it'll sound like I'm a normal person.
So, what got you all into podcasting? I know that Craig, how did this process go down and why?
I listened to the Two Crazy Scoops. Actually, I should incorrectly say your podcast name somehow. Let me think of a.
It's the Two Crazy Oops now.
The Two Crazy Snoops.
No, just because Aaron said that we were the 3-on-3 podcast, so I want.
You heard that?
Oh yeah, so it's like you guys are the two insane buckets. The Two Insane Buckets podcast.
I'm sorry about that. That was incorrect.
I listened to the Two Insane Buckets podcast for a long time, and I always on my bike rides, and I thought to myself, man, I should make a podcast. And then I texted Antonio and I was like, so you know how you're already on a podcast? How do you feel about making another podcast? And he was like,
he didn't even ask to be a guest. He had the audacity to ask to be in a podcast.
Yeah. It was quite audacious.
He has so much audacity that he records his podcasts on a program called Audacity.
It's true. I use a program called Reaper. But
I told Craig, I was like, me and you probably wouldn't have the best conversations. We need to throw in another,
Yeah, Antonio was like, we need
card.
We need a wild card. And I was like, I know just the wild
Mark sitting at his desk trading stocks.
So I was like your 11th option. And Craig forced me into doing this podcast. I was like, I don't really have time for this right now in my life. And he was like, please, Mark, please, we'll pay you nothing. And I said, okay. I said, okay, for nothing, I'll do it.
And we've had a blast ever since. I enjoy doing it just to have an excuse to hang out with you guys. And also it gives me an excuse to edit things. So it's like a fun use of time during the pandemic. I like to edit things and I like to hang out with you guys. So, and then we just kind of have fun. I really don't care about like the podcast content quality, as you can probably tell, but I'm more concerned just with like having a good time. And then as long as it sounds good, then I don't care what we're talking about, unless we're talking about stocks. I hated that episode. Aside from that, I usually have a good time. That's my take on podcasting. What about you guys? And this has been another episode of Two Crazy Scoops and Best 3 out of 3 podcast.
Aaron, what would you tell the 3 out of 3 podcast?
Best 3 out of 3.
Best 3
You're on the podcast, Antonio.
I think the reason why we initially started is because and this kind of ties into the road trips that we had took, we would have some very interesting conversations. Not just the road trips, but that was part of it. Me and Tino always had some interesting conversations. A lot of it was controversial because I like, for some reason, his personality is just the type of person that attracts like controversy. And so I just like to bring up controversial topics with him and just get a reaction out of him, and it's always great. And
that's
so
awesome.
So we've had some very interesting conversations, and
all of them we came to the realization that it doesn't matter. Both people can have differing opinions about things and we can still be friends. That was the end of it all. And from that, the podcast was built.
One time Mark told a story on our podcast, and it was pretty controversial too. He saw a bear, and that was it.
My God. I was like, did he really? I was like, I don't think Mark would do that.
No, Mark he said, I saw a bear, and then like, that was it. That was the story. And we moved on.
I could expound on that story.
Hilarious.
I could expound on that story if you would like me
on the
to.
Bear story?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were actually up in what's it called? Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, and
Like Taco? Ooh.
yeah,
Lake Taco.
Lake Taco.
Lake Tahoe, and it was our first night there. And actually, what was great about this bear sighting, and I'll get to that in a second, was we would have not seen it had my tire not gotten a massive nail, puncture from the highway.
Right.
So how do these two relate, you ask?
I don't know how.
I will tell you now.
Thank you.
We were driving on the highway, 70 miles an hour, maybe 68, maybe 69, somewhere in there.
Maybe 71 miles per hour?
Yeah, maybe 72. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly. I could go back and look at the trajectory from the data that I took. But anyway, I'll get back to you on that, Craig.
Yeah, just send me a text.
Sounds good. Okay. So we were going about 70 miles an hour, and I heard this weird noise. Like, have you ever heard a belt break in a car?
I've been in a car. The belt has broken and smoke poured out of the...
It has a really weird, like, hissing sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, I heard that sound very briefly, and I was like, what was that? You know, and then I was like, I better pull over just to check on it. And there, coincidentally, you know, going up to Lake Tahoe, it's beautiful. There's mountains and trees and everything.
Plenty of Mexican
There was this
food.
perfect pull out with an old barn looking thing, and right at that point, this perfect pull appeared, and I was like, okay, I'll pull out right here with this beautiful view too, into a valley, and so we stopped there, and immediately I heard the hissing, the rushing air coming out of my right rear tire, and I was like, oh no, we have a flat. And so we were with two other friends, my wife and I, and so me and Douglas, we switched out the tire. Thankfully, the spare had enough air in it. And anyway, what happened was it took quite some time to get the tire. I actually had to buy a new tire because it was such a large nail that it completely destroyed the tread. It was such a huge puncture, it destroyed the tread. I had to buy a new tire. So we went to a tire shop. They couldn't help us because we literally went up to the guy and we were like, hey, are you guys, can we get our tire replaced there? And he was like, oh, we're closed. And we were like,
and
okay.
He was there talking to you and he said they're closed?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so when, are you going on lunch or when do you open again? He was like, we're closed indefinitely. And I was like, that's
what?
Great. Okay. So we left.
So then you proceeded to call Uber to have them deliver a tire to you.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a driver all the way from the Bay Area to come up, 4-hour drive, bring us a new tire, put it on, massage us while he's doing it as well.
Nice.
Wash our feet. And yeah. And then we get a secondary massage after the feet washing as well. So anyway, we got a new tire.
But they don't serve you dinner after?
No, that came later, but I left that part out. Didn't want to get too explicit. So then we got the new tire, put the tire on, of course, continued our journey. So this delayed us probably, I would say, about 4 or 5 hours. It delayed us, right? When we got to the cabin in Tahoe, or not cabin, but where we were staying, we unloaded and everything and decided to go to get some dinner. It was then that we were driving back down the hill to the Lake Tahoe area to get dinner that we saw the bear. The bear was in front of a garbage can trying to get some food. I initially drove past it and I was like, what was that like massive fluffy object?
Right.
Because it was dark, right?
Was it
what was
chinchilla? Like what was it?
I was like, what was that thing? So I stopped and no one else saw it. I saw it in the corner of my eye, pulled, turned around, and it was literally this massive, fluffy, fat black bear, like probably less than 100 feet away. We were in the car, of course, but my beams were shining on him. And he was just a beautiful creature.
High beams or regular beams?
Regular. I didn't want to be rude,
That's kind.
Yeah. But anyway,
I still can't get over Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, Lake Tahoe. See, so Mark has pretty controversial stories too on our podcast. So,
but that's what happened. We wouldn't have seen the bear if we wouldn't have gotten the flat tire. I almost thought about asking the Uber Eats driver to go and talk to the bear, to reason with him and have him join us for dinner. And I was also going to ask the Uber Eats driver to, of course, feed the bear. He would have to chop the steak, and it would be a huge steak. It's, it's got to be at least a 10-pound steak for the bear. He's going to chop it. He's going to, put the steak in the bear's mouth, make sure the bear chews it properly.
Yeah.
Give the bear a manicure, pedicure, sharpen the claws, you know.
Sharpen the claws.
And I think the Uber driver would have done it. He was a nice guy.
That's good. So I'm gonna drop kick another question here. So for anyone who's listening on the Best 3 out of 3 podcast, we want to get you introduced to the Two Crazy Scoops podcast. So Aaron and Antonio, what would you say for a listener for their first time, if they wanted to give your podcast one shot, what's the one episode they should start at where you think, okay, this is the best episode, start here?
I mean, the quality of I think our podcast has gotten better over time. It's because we've gotten used to it and everything. And so on season 1, my favorite episode, it was called The Cat, the Rat, and the Potential Bat. And that was with my friend Tyson, because Tyson actually does radio on the side, and he has that radio announcer voice. So he knows how to speak, and he's very articulate. And so that was my favorite episode from the first season. Okay. But the most popular episode from the first season, as far as listens, actually goes to when we interviewed my friend Damien, who, I thought it was very dry, but it was the highest listened episode.
Yeah, it blew up
from that season. Yeah,
nice. Okay,
so
those are good starting points. Then
I think that you should start season 4. To be honest,
season 4 is
that was the most fun, I think, for us.
And the season 3, I like the season 3 finale, which was when we were doing We were doing a Hot Ones challenge.
Oh, that's a good episode. That was funny.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and I wish we had more of a visual element to show for that one, because obviously some of that was very visual. But I think there's like a short clip of it on Instagram. But season 4, we interviewed some very special guests. So I would listen to The Cat, the Rat, and the Potential Bat from season 1, and then skip to season 4.
Nice.
And I know you didn't ask this, but I will just throw this in there. The guests are really some of which I would say are the highlights for me, because you interview people from so many different backgrounds and so many different interests, and they really make the podcast, and they kind of bring out your your humorous and silly side as well, talking to some of those experiences. Because we had one, and I can't remember what his name was. Just my mind drew a blank, but it was the one who used to prank Tracy all the time.
Travis.
Travis, yeah. Like, that was a really interesting episode. And he's said something. Yeah. And it was and I would have never, I wouldn't have necessarily guessed that how interesting he would have been just from the get-go, just when I first met him. But the episode turned out amazing. And then Tracy's episode was amazing as well. I really liked hers. And then, there's been some other gems, but those are some of the ones that kind of stood out to me.
That's cool.
But podcasts are kind of interesting, because the podcast we do on Best 3 out of 3, I feel is a little more focused on biking, small town Canada, and funny stories about traveling or whatever.
Funny nothingness. Also, we're reviewing Radiohead albums chronologically now. But
yeah, which kind of fits in with a certain audience,
It's true. It fits a certain audience. Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing I found with podcasting, is they can be different things. It's not.
It's true. Yeah, they're very different. Yeah. But it can come together in sweet harmony.
So what would be your guys' favorite episode from the Best 3 out of 3?
That's a good question.
To be honest, I really enjoy the Kenneth episodes.
So anything with Kenneth in it.
Basically.
I too enjoyed the Kenneth one.
Yeah.
I feel like the chemistry between the 4 of us is really, really good. It's like a love square, not a love triangle, but a love square.
Is it more like a rectangle?
I guess you could say a rectangle.
It's like a love rectangle.
Yeah, like a love rectangle. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 5, pictures that also have a bike in them, featuring Kenneth.
I recommend start there. Yeah, pictures that also have a bike in them, featuring Kenneth is amazing. I also really enjoyed not 1, not 3, but 2 pickles. That was a fun one. That was episode 10. So either of those.
So which one was the one that we dissected into 2 episodes?
episode 8, which was part 8, part 1, and 9, part 2.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those as well.
Yeah, those ones both had Kenneth on them too.
I love the ending to part 1 where Kenneth just says, "So just as a dissected animal has 2 parts, so too this podcast."
That's right, and it ends on that note.
So brutally hilarious.
But also my audio, I think that was when I was driving on the road, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
My
was while you
audio
guys were on the
terrible.
road trip. Yeah, your audio is really bad. On
Your
that one.
audio was so bad. It was so bad we couldn't understand you. It was like, "Hey Antonio, what's the the answer to this question?" And Antonio would be like,
It's true. And Aaron was like trying to sleep. It was great. Aaron, your voice makes it into like I think 1 second of audio in that episode. So
yeah,
tune in.
What was your most fun episode? Because for some reason mine was 7, but I don't think anyone liked that one.
My most fun episode has been the episodes where we get to talk about Uber driver Eats.
Yeah, anytime we get to talk about Uber, I have the most fun.
Uber Eats drivers are the best.
I liked Happiness is a Warm podcast. That was fun.
Isn't that like the lowest rated podcast?
It's like the lowest rated episode we've ever done.
That's so I don't even think I've listened to that one yet.
That's the one where you just say, "Yeah, I saw a bear," and then you don't say anything else.
And I think we let you share your screen, and you were looking up e-bikes for a large majority at the time as well.
Yeah, you were just like, "Oh, look at this e-bike! Oh my goodness, guys, look at this e-bike! Oh man, I want to buy this e-bike so bad." But we're gonna stop talking about that, Mark, because I can see you're already going off into a daze, an e-bike daze.
So, Aaron, what do you do?
For a living?
For money?
For
yeah.
What? The question should be, what won't you do for money? No, I'm kidding.
So, Aaron, what won't you do for money?
No, right now I work at a digital marketing agency.
Cool.
And so that's my job. I basically help businesses with their Google profiles and answer reviews for them and make posts for them and make sure that they local SEO is so they rank higher on Google. That's basically what I work on.
Cool.
So, Mark, if you ever want to be a guest by yourself and we can talk about stocks,
yeah,
you're always welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be there.
I added the stock episode to my playlist because I want to hear that because that's really interesting to me.
It's not, Aaron.
No, What do you? Okay, did you do that for a living?
No. I've been doing it for a couple years, and really, to get really good at it, you have to do at least 2 years of trading, and so I'm in my 3rd year. Just started my 3rd year, so I've done 2 years, and right now the market has just been so bad that there's really no.
Yeah, I'm about to drop kick another question.
I'm
Mark.
not good.
There's no more room for talking about this. Okay, we already.
It's just gonna take like 5 seconds, Craig. It's gonna take like 5 seconds, Craig. Okay.
Okay, if it's over, I'm muting you.
Basically, I'm not good enough at this point to find the opportunities in this market. This market's very it's so dry. Like you have to scrape and scrape and scrape to get the opportunities. I don't have the time to do that right now, and I'm not good enough to capitalize on them. Whenever the market's like roaring and it's really great, I can definitely make money in that market. But right now, that's not the case. So that's it.
Gotcha.
So basically, that's how it is.
We'll have you on and we'll pick your brain with it.
Yeah.
And so what do you do for a living then? Did you already say that?
No, I'm a notary loan signing agent. So like, for instance, whenever someone buys a house or sells a house or refinances their house, there's always a loan package that has to be signed, and it's usually around 120 to 160 pages. And so there's always a closing agent or signing agent rather who takes that package to the purchaser or seller, and they sign. And that person also is a notary. So because there's certain things that have to be notarized in that package. So that's
Okay.
what I do. So I'm that person who takes the package to the signer, and then we sign together. And I notarize it, and they sign. And
Wait, so are you responsible if something goes wrong? Like, is there something that can go wrong, and are you responsible if it does?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, there's definitely some liability. Like I have to have insurance, but
like, what could go wrong? And I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. What could go wrong? Like, what's the worst case scenario?
Well, the training that I've received, basically the main thing is, like, if I give advice, like if I were to give advice to someone, that could definitely bite me in the butt.
Okay.
But the training that I've received is to never give advice. So I never do. So that's probably the biggest thing. Like if you're trying to give legal advice or tax advice or something like that, definitely is prohibited as a notary loan signing agent. So that's you just got to stay away from that and make sure that you don't do any illegal notarization. Anything that would be considered illegal with regard to the notarizing. So
okay,
yeah.
That's amazing. Here comes a drop kick. Thanks so much for sharing. So before we wrap up, if you want to see the pictures from today's episode, there will be pictures coming up for the small town news segment. Visit our blog spot, best3-3.blogspot.com, and send us an email of your bike, and we will berate it on best3-3, best3-3@gmail.com. So guys, guess what?
Time for small town Canada news.
It's time for the news from small town Canada. And this is going to be a little interactive for you guys, okay? So I want you to fill in the blank here. I've got the headline. Guess what the word is that I say is blank in the headline, okay? So here's the headline. Blank arrested after walking into Saskatchewan Tim Hortons refusing to leave. So that's the headline. Who do you think walked in? Blank arrested after walking into Saskatchewan Tim Hortons refusing to leave. What?
Craig.
It's Craig? Is that your final answer? The answer is goat. Goat arrested after walking into Saskatchewan Tim Hortons. So I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see it. And if you go to the blog spot, you'll be able to see the pictures. So there was this woman who called at 4 a.m. and there's a goat here sitting in the entry of Tim Hortons. He's just walked in and he's settled down for a nap. And it says no skateboarding, no biking, but it doesn't say no goats.
Right. So that's why.
That's amazing.
So the goat just kind of snuck in for a little nap at a Timmy's.
He probably smelt the food and was like, and hoped someone would give him something.
Yeah, well, he thought it was a gas station. Actually, was what
he thought it was a gas station.
Craig, there are obviously parking spaces in front of here.
There are parking spaces. Clearly, this is a gas station, as you could see. There's the goat in there. He's standing up, which is a nice picture. And here's another one with the goat standing up. He's just happy little goat. He's tagged, and it says that the owners eventually found him. Organizers of the University of Saskatchewan Rodeo said the animal escaped from their event, which kicked off in Martinsville hours earlier on Saturday. So this small town news is from the small town in Saskatchewan, Martinsville. Martinsville has approximately 9,645 people in it, making it smaller than Winkler. And
wow, I wonder if I can email them.
Can you send an email to Winkler for us?
I've sent several. I am heartbroken to share that they have not replied.
They still haven't
replied. Those are
replied.
also my other favorite parts is when Mark writes to Winkler.
Yeah, those are
Mark
amazing.
and family, I should say.
Yeah, Mark and family.
Mark and family have not received a reply.
Another thing we do on Best 3 out of 3 is we end with a rock, paper, scissors tournament.
A high
so we
five.
can do that, and then
handshake
a handshake tournament, and then Antonio. After that, you can also do the 2 crazy scoops ending, and I'll try to splice them together.
We've been podcasting for 2 hours, so let's get this over.
Thanks for listening, folks. Let's okay. Rock.
Wait, gotta close your eyes.
We have to close our eyes. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, I'm paper. Mark is rock. Mark is scissors. Aaron is scissors, and Antonio is rock. Which means
I think the 2 beats the paper, and then I beat both of them.
Antonio's the winner.
Thank you.
Antonio's the
Wait,
winner again.
but Craig covers rock.
I cover the rock. But there were 2 scissors. So does one of the scissors get me? Then the rock bashes the other one scissor, but then there's still 1 scissor left standing.
Which I also bash.
Unless I cover the rock first.
Which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, this doesn't work with 4 people.
Let's try it one more time. One more time.
You'd have to have 2 people play against each other, and then you'd have to have the winner.
Exactly. So let's do that. Let's just have Craig and Aaron first.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors.
Wait. Let's start over.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Paper,
Okay.
Scissors.
Okay.
I'm scissors.
All right.
Aaron is scissors. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, he covers me. I'm rock and Aaron's paper.
All right. So now Aaron fights me because I'm the challenger, but Antonio's the champion, the reigning champ.
Yeah.
So you got to get through me to get to the champ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, Mark is scissors, Aaron is paper. Mark comes out victorious. Okay, now it's the reigning
I'm fighting
champ.
the reigning
Antonio.
champ. I am challenging.
Go.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, Mark is rock. Antonio
smash.
is scissors. Mark destroys Antonio.
Smashed
And the crowd goes wild.
The reigning champion.
As I said, whenever I win, I do not want that. I'm fine losing.
So you're happier. I take the title.
I'm happier.
I take the title. I take the win. I take everything. It's for the gold.
We need to make a big old belt.
I know.
The podcasting belt. Stay tuned for our coffee table book, also coming out on Amazon in a short order.
Yeah, for $9.99.
Chock filled with pictures that also have bikes in them. So thanks for listening to Best 3 out of 3, the podcast.
And thanks for
Stay
listening to
classy,
the
Tucson.
2 Crazy Scoops podcast.
Now do your regular ending, Antonio.
This has been 2 Crazy Scoops podcast with your hosts, Ayo and Antino, and Mark and Craig. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. See you next time.
You stay classy, Tucson. Great.